More and more, the European Central Bank is getting close to having its own digital currency. Could you tell us what tools they might want to use to build this? Have they checked something like the XRP ledger? Have other European countries tried out the XRP ledger? That's the question we'll answer in this film. Great video here from Paul Barron where he talks about Europe on the XRP system, RLUSD, and XRP. Let's take a look at all of this information. I'll tell you everything I know up to this point, and I hope you learn a lot. That's the point. Here is the most recent video from Christine Lagarde, who is the head of the European Central Bank. We are firmly focused on creating the digital euro and doing everything we can to be on time and ready to release this digital form of national money as soon as possible. Rest assured that this doesn't mean tomorrow. There will always be cash and banks will play along. They will be there at the start and also during the process. As people in Europe's tastes change over time, it is our job to make sure that the digital euro is something that could happen. Some of this I agree with, but not all of it. It says that the cash will always be here. As you may know, checks are being thrown out. They'll get rid of credit cards and ATM cards in the end, right? Each of us is going to use these new digital wallets. It doesn't make sense to say that cash will always be here. I think in 10 to 20 years, we might only see cash in museums from now on. I think there will come a time when all cash is seized and everyone is forced to use these new digital currencies. This will give governments around the world more power, and they want that very much. Let's play this clip from Paul Barron. What do you think? Is cash still going to be around in 50 or 20 years? Or do you also think it will be taken out over time? They won't tell you that right now because that would surely lead to a revolt, right? That's not what you want. Let's keep going. That's where RippleNet comes in. So Ripple is basically the only way to join in the digital euro, and it may even be the first ones to do so. Also, you should check out the Digital Euro Association, which works with Ripple. In this case, they said Digital Euro is pleased to announce a partnership with Ripple, which will support each other, getting the CBDCs and Ripple ready. Once more, this could be interesting as we watch it unfold. If they really are worried that the US might become the world's leader, Christine Lagarde and the EU are looking into that. You have to look at what's going on the RLUSD front and, of course, how fast RLUSD is moving. It happened back in early January, and the amount of work it did had already begun to take off and move up the ranks. That may have been the first thing that made the EU pay attention and say, hey, we need to get this done. Okay, let's look at some facts now. The European Central Bank is making progress on the digital euro by running a pilot project, consulting with the public, and doing a lot of scientific testing on both centralized and distributed ledger technologies. This is the newest one that focuses on Ripple and XRP. XRP and Ripple were tested by the ECB for CBDC. In June 2025, the ECB will start a test project for a digital euro that will use the XRP ledger. The ECB started a regulated pilot program for the digital euro that will last for 12 months. The XRP ledger was chosen as the main blockchain technology to test real-time settlement and payments across the Eurozone. There are more than 500 financial companies taking part. Ripple XRP ledger is being tested for speed, compliance, being able to be heard, and transfers. To keep things safe and easy to hand, still during the trial, each test transaction is limited to about 10,000 euros by the pilot. Is that right? A second blockchain? That's not true. I think this is White Rock. Okay, so this is a scam. The XRP ledger is being tested in a controlled permission setting. It is not available to everyone. The European Central Bank, ECB, is looking into how well the XRP ledger works for synchronization, delivery, and payment deals involving tokenized bonds and central bank money. The purpose of the test is to find out if XRP meets the ECB's privacy and efficiency standards for a wholesale CBDC system. The ECB and other European central banks have tried the XRP ledger in the past, but only in controlled simulations, away from public validators and liquidity pools. These tests are not an endorsement or relationship with Ripple for widespread use. Instead, they are a technical validation test or expert opinion. Sorry, I need to work out. I missed it twice. Third time's the charm. Along with the XRP system, more advanced technology moves forward. The ECB is also trying out R3 Corda and other distributed ledger systems. Ethereum variations and custom solutions as part of a large-scale CBDC research project. Settlement trials, interoperability tests, and cross-border use cases are some of the things that are being tested. The ECB is simulating the whole digital euro ecosystem on an innovation platform. This platform lets about 70 market participants, such as merchants, fintechs, banks, and big payment service providers, test out technical integration using standard APIs and sandbox environments. Just a few important things to remember from this. Yes, the European Central Bank has been trying the XRP ledger along with R3 and other versions that work like Ethereum. What they choose to do will be interesting to watch. Keep in mind that not all of these central banks use R3. I think the XRP ledger is the best way to get a shared record that can move value between places like the US, Japan, and Europe. But we'll have to wait and see what Europe does. I mean, just think about what the news would be like if they said the XRP ledger would be the digital euro. Wow, that would be so cool. We could have a bottle of champagne. I would say, no, I probably wouldn't do that. You know that 5 grand is gone after all that, right? Another 5 grand is gone all over the laptop. Okay, this is day 340 of the second year. The European Central Bank, ECB, talks about how XRP is used and how payments work on its distributed ledger, DLT wallet system. The ECB links all euro banks for foreign money transfers through Ripple's XRP ledger. So this was another main issue of debt securities and payment with RAPC BDCs, Axiology, DLT, and TSS. This is, of course, the XRP system. Okay, if you want to stop it here and look at everything, I've written about it. In order to find this, all you have to do is watch some of my old movies and search for Axiology, ECB. I'm going to give you this list of everything you need to know. I don't want to spend time on something I already made a movie about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Feel free to click on this link in the text if you want to read everything. Okay. Also, the Bundesbank, which is Germany's central bank, has talked about how useful it is to use Ripple for cross-border payments. They have also said that Bitcoin is only listed as a platform and not as a currency. This is more proof that XRP is real. As an extra piece, this person says that they are the chosen one in Europe. The second biggest bank in Germany is important to remember. The name of the blog post is DZ Bank Goes Live with Ripple Custody. This group is kind of like how BNY Mellon looks after other banks' money. In this way, DZ Bank looks after other German banks, and now they're using Ripple custody to make things work. That means it's pretty cool, right? That's why we know that Germany's banks know a lot about Ripple and XRP and have taken steps to move forward with these ideas. If the German government wants to start a CBDC with Ripple, it will be interesting to see what they do in the end. It's clear. And I think we've seen that test a million times, right? So these are just the shots. Ripple, please look at this if you want to. Swift is down here. This is where Ethereum is. Looks like this could be R3, U-Circle, and a few other things as well. There's no doubt that the Bank of France has been a big, cheerleader for Ripple's technology. They have put out a lot of information in papers saying that they are very impressed with it. And I would be surprised if the Bank of France went ahead with their own digital euro, even if they chose the XRP system. Always keep in mind that France has a lot of power in Europe. They have one of the biggest armies in Europe. And I've heard other French leaders say that Emmanuel Macron is like a good leader. It's clear that I'm not in France, so don't shoot me in the comments. I've heard he's a good boss, though. He's been there for a long time. I understand if you have different thoughts. France's central bank has said that XRP technology from Ripple looks like a good choice for the European Central Bank's digital currency. It is clear that the XRP system is the best choice to support the digital euro because it can handle a huge number of transactions without any problems. So there you have it. The Banque de France, France's central bank, has talked publicly about Ripple XRP as a possible platform for Europe's digital currency. You can be sure that Christine Lagarde is talking to other European leaders about what technology we should use. It would be interesting to find out if it really is Ripple and XRP. It has the 7th biggest economy in the world. The central bank has made it clear that it wants to use the XRP system for its digital euro. There will be different types of systems for each central bank in the EU, right? The European Central Bank, ECB, will be the one to start the digital euro on a main system. Each other central bank will have to choose which technology they want to use. Don't forget that the reason all of this works with each other is very important. The Bank of France has publicly started testing Ripple's private ledger for possible digital euro CBDC. This is the most important development in Europe. France is now the first confirmed EU member state to test Ripple technology for digital currency in the central bank on a national level. The trial is mostly about testing Ripple's infrastructure so that it can